Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we'll be making a simple turban cap. A lot of you guys who enjoy my headband tutorials always ask me to share turban tutorials as well, because some of you guys want something that is going to cover your entire head, and I'm listening to you guys, and this is me starting off with sharing turban tutorials going forward. But in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make simple turban base that you can now tweak and design to give you your desired stylish results. So if you want to know the basics, more like a turban 101 tutorial, make sure you watch this video to the end, subscribe as well, and feel free to share with your friends and family, and please also don't forget to give this video a big fat thumbs up. Alright guys, let's get straight into today's tutorial. Alright guys, so I have my fabric cut out already. I have the piece that is going to serve as the band of my turban, and I also have the main fabric that is going to serve as my main turban. The dimension of the main piece of fabric is 25 inches by 16 inches. This is my own head circumference measurement. I added 2 inches to my regular head circumference, so feel free to go ahead to measure your own head circumference and then add extra 2 inches just for ease, so that your turban doesn't feel too tight on your head. And for the band is about 30 inches long by 4 inches. I folded the 4 inches into 2. So what I've done so far is I sewed the 2 inches folded piece of band right into 2, and then I sewed it along the edge. And what I want to do now is pass my elastic through, just to give it that elastic kind of feel towards the back. You want this elastic to end up at the center of this piece of fabric. So what I'm going to do now is at the 2 sides of my piece of band for my turban, I'm going to measure about 11 inches. What you can see here is 10 inches, but I ended up adding 1 extra inch, so I'm measuring 11 inches at the 2 sides of my band, and then the midpoint, right, which is about 8 inches wide or 9 inches, now I'm not quite sure, that is where I want my elastic to end up in. So with passing the elastic through that space, there's a little bit of methodology to it, so please pay attention in this particular area of this video. So what you want to do is, first of all, attach your safety pin to your elastic. Okay, you know what, let me just wait till I get to that point and then we'll go along. Alright guys, so this is the point I'm talking about. That's the space where we want our elastic to end up in. So what I'm going to do now is attach my safety pin, okay, just like I'm doing right here, and then I'm going to pass this elastic through, just like I'm passing elastic through a piped piece of fabric. I'm sure a lot of you guys already know how that goes if you watch a lot of my videos. So I'm going to keep filling my elastic and passing it through, but make sure you don't overpass the elastic. You want this extreme end of the elastic to end up at the first point where you marked your 11 inches. Where I told you guys to mark, right? You're going to pass the elastic such that the end of that elastic is stopping at that point right there. So let's just watch me go ahead. Alright guys, so you can see I'm filling the elastic as I'm passing it through, trying to make sure that I don't overpass the elastic. So that's how you're going to keep doing it as well when you are replicating your own turban. So keep filling the elastic, make sure you don't pass the desired points that you want it to end up in. So once it gets to that point, you get your pin and then secure the elastic at that point. Alright guys, so the next thing we are going to do now is to remove our safety pin. So you are going to just pass the elastic all the way to the end of the band that we are working on, pass it and keep scrunching up the fabric till the safety pin gets out completely. And once it gets to the end, of course, you detach it from the elastic, and then we'll move on to the next stage in making this our band. Alright guys, so now that my safety pin is out, the next thing I want to do now is release the fabric gently. Okay, don't just pull the elastic. You are going to ruin the whole work, and we have to start from the beginning. So you keep filling the elastic till it gets to that second line. We marked 11 inches from the extreme ends of our band, so you keep filling the elastic, filling it, and then when it gets to the point where you want it to be, the marked point, you now stop right there. Okay, make sure that you don't over pull your fabric so you don't lose your elastic in the process. Now that I've gotten there, as shown in this video, I'm going to grab my pin and then secure my elastic at that point, okay? And then once that is done, you will now go ahead to your sewing machine and then sew that point such that your elastic stays permanently at that point. I know explaining it might sound complicated, but trust me, this process is extremely simple, very, very simple. Once you do it once, going forward, it seems it's just going to be like a walk in the park. And this is my band now for my turban. All right, guys, so the next stage in this tutorial is for us to join that band to the main piece that is going to serve as our turban. But because I'm just extra and all of that, I decided to just give this main piece a little bit of, pizzazz. And okay, this part of the tutorial is not necessary, but yeah, if you go ahead to do it, you would also like the end result. So I'm just going to sew a straight line at the midpoint of my fabric, just to give the illusion that I have two pieces of fabric going on, even though in reality I have just one single piece. What I'm doing here is just cutting off the excess piece of fabric going on under my band, because I told you guys earlier that is a 4-inch piece of fabric, 4-inch wide. I folded this into two and it gave me 2 inches, and the elastic I passed through this fabric is about 1 inch wide, so the excess fabric was kind of a lot, right? So just to make my work look neat at the end of the day, I decided to just trim off the excess fabric before connecting the band to the main body of the turban. All right, guys, so what I'm doing here is just pinning the band to the main body of the turban now, just using my pins so that when I'm sewing it moves really, really quickly. But just in case you're a professional and you don't like pinning, just do you don't have to go through this step. But I always advise my sweet viewers to go ahead to pin their fabric together. Okay, it allows for precision when sewing and just makes your life really, really easy. So I've already gone ahead to sew the band to the main piece for my turban, and yeah, guys, we're making progress in this our turban making procedure. So what I'm doing here is just marking 4 inches along the length and along the width of my turban. This is to give me a curved effect at the sides of my turban. This is what is going to allow that your turban form really, really nicely at the back of your head. But if you know that you just don't care for this step, feel free to skip it, but I advise that you just follow the step just to achieve the exact same results I got when I made my own turban. So 4 inches along the length and the width, and then form a curve connecting those 2 points together. And now I just folded my fabric into two to cut everything at once, so the 2 edges of my turban will have this curved effect at the sides. Alright, guys, so what I'm going to do next is to gather the entire edge of my turban. So from end to end, I'm using my needle and thread to form gathers. So this procedure, it might take a while, but trust me, guys, it's nothing out of the ordinary. It's a no-brainer. Just keep doing running stitches all over the edge of your turban till you get from one end to the other end. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. For this part of the tutorial, I'm not going to waste too much time. I'm going to speed up the speed up the footage, okay, so it doesn't bore you guys and all of that. All I'm doing, like I said, is just creating running stitches from ear to ear on my fabric. And now that I'm at the edge of my fabric, I've already gathered the entire thing. What I'm doing here is just adjusting the fabric here and there, just to make everything equal and then to allow the edges of the fabric meet each other. So now that the edges are with each other, what I'm going to do is turn the fabric inside out, such that I'm joining the two, joining the edge of this fabric that I gathered together in the inner part. Okay, you are not joining it together on the right side, you are joining it together on the wrong side. So fold it inwards and then now sew along this edge to just give you your final result. So I'm going to go straight to my sewing machine now and then sew this edge. But what I'm doing here is just adjusting to make everything look smooth. And yeah, guys, this is it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do now is just to kind of ruche the back of this our turban. Like I said, all the things I'm doing here are not necessary, but if you want to have the exact same result I got with my own turban, you have to follow everything I'm doing. So for here, what you're doing is very simple. You just cut a small piece of elastic about 2.5 inches long, and then you mark about 4 to 5 inches from the band. Okay, ignore that part where the elastic is. That's not where you're marking from the edge of the band to 4 inches upwards. Mark that point and then attach your elastic to it, and voila, guys, that is it. So this is it, guys. This is the final result of my turban. This is the simple turban base. After doing this, you can now decide whether you want to do designs on the turban and attach braids and all of that. But don't worry guys, in subsequent videos I'm going to be sharing tons and tons of beautiful designs with you all, so look out for that. I also made a turban that has a lining inside, a satin lining, just for those that might be interested in that type of turban. That's going to be the next tutorial after this tutorial, so keep an eye out for that. If you've not subscribed, please do well to subscribe, like this video and share with your friends. Thank you guys so much for being patient and watching this video. I appreciate every single one of you, and I can't wait to see you in my next one. Bye.